ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य त्वन्मयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 14, verse number 29. Sukadeva Goswami is continuing to explain the meaning of the allegory which was described by Jad Bharat to King Rahugana. And he was explaining how the person who is on this path of material life undergoes various types of problems, beginning from happiness, distress, attachment, envy, fear, pride, negligence, then disturbance of the mind, delusion, greed, and envy, matsarya. So various types of problems, physical disease, mental disease. And then once in a while there is some happiness. So now he says that kadachid ishwarasya bhagavato vishnos chakrat parmanuvadi dviparardh apvarga kalopalakshanat परिवर्तितेन वयसा रम्भसा हरत आब्रह्मस्तृणस्तंभादीनां भूतानां अनिमिषतो मिषतां मित्रस्थ हृदयस्तमेश्वरं कालचक्रनिजायुधं साक्षात् भगवन्तं यज्ञपुरुषमनादृत्य पाखंड देवता कंकगृध्र वकवटप्राया आर्य समय परिहता सांकेत्येन विधत्ते. So he says that sometimes the person may become detached or loses hope. It happens sometimes people are in the material life, they are a failure, then they want to leave everything. Just few days ago somebody came to me and said, "Oh, I'm fed up with my life." So then they come in contact with some Brahmana, it says, or devotees. So time is taking away everybody's life. Lord Vishnu has one disc. So that signifies time, because it is a chakra moving all the time and making everybody move. So he says that the time starts from Parmanu up to Dviparad. The lowest limit of time which is described here is the time which sun takes to move the length of an atom. And the longest limit of time is the half-life span of Brahma. So this is the time Parmanuvadi Dviparad Apvar Kalop Lakshanat Parivartayan. So this time is moving all the time, and it is moving with great speed, Ramasa, and taking away our life. Abrahmana Trinastambadana, starting from Brahma up to the blade of grass, without them perceiving it. We don't perceive it all the time, that the time is moving or it is taking our lifespan. Once in a while we think of it, but it is actually invisibly taking away our life, and therefore sometimes we become disturbed in our heart. We trust the Hridayam, Eva Ishwaram Kala Chakra Nijayadham, Sakshat Bhagavantam. So then we approach, or we come in the association of some devotees, but unfortunately we don't like what they are saying or what they are doing. So he says that we disregard their activities or their process of devotion, chanting, reading, all this. And then we take to the worship of Pakhanda Devata. So other deities, Avalokiteshwar. So some other forms of God, then we become interested in worshipping them, because that seems like very comfortable, because you can do what you like to. You don't have to follow any rules, and you also feel that you are doing something spiritual. So that is called Pakhanda Deva. Many times people in India they change from Hindu religion to other religion only for this reason, because they can drink freely or eat meat. So then they are happy. All you have to take is surrender. Take center of Jesus. Don't do anything you like to do. That's how they preach. So then they think, oh, this is very nice. Don't have to follow anything. So he says this is like Kanka Gridhra Baka Vata Praya. Earlier he has spoken about this, that there are various types of these birds, vultures, crane. So they look very nice externally. Baka, the crane. Looks very sattvic, peaceful. But inside is hypocrisy. So therefore Kankadayo. So then you take shelter of these lower deities. Arya Samaya Parihata. because Arya means good behavior, following sattvic life. So we are not interested in doing that. So Sanketyena Abhinat. Then you follow some heretic scriptures. So there are various books available like that. Sud Samhita is there. So Srimad Sakriti says that Kvachit Kadachid Hari Chakrata Trasan Atiyatad Vyachaste. So he says here he is explaining the verse which was spoken in the previous chapter, that fearing the disk of the Lord. Parmanu Adir Dviparardho Apargavanto Yasya. So that time which starts from this Parmanu, or the movement of sun, which it takes to cross an atom to Dviparardha. Yasya tena kale neva upadhikyana lakshanam yasya tasmat. Dviparardha apargat kala uplakshanamiti pathe kala swarupat. Kidrishat parivartitena vayasa balyadina. So time is moving and then we are changing. Our life is going from childhood to youth to old age, and continuously we are moving towards our death. Ramhasa ati sagrena, and it is happening very quickly. When you see our life, it looks that it has gone so fast. Tesam ayur harta animishata. So he is stealing the life of everybody. Nimesham api akurvata pramattat. So time is very careful. Nimesha means blinking of the eye. Called the time you take to blink. So time is called here as animishata, means that he is not even blinking his eyes. Which means time is alert. He is doing its job all the time. Even when you sleep, it's not sparing you. So continuously it is taking away our life, and very attentively, and right in front of our eyes. Because time is passing, there is nothing we can do about it. We can get everything else, but not the time which has gone. So still we waste that time, which is all the very limited. So Vyavahare Pramattanam Bhutanam Iti Karmani Sasthya Bhutani Artha. So this word of Animishtam, it can be applied to time, that he is very alert, or it can be applied to us, that who are just pramatta, or lost in our intelligence. Yadva ayura iti adhyaharya tesam ayura harta nimishta nimesham api akurvata pramatta. Arya samaya parihrita sishtachar rahita. So these people who become sometimes inspired to give up their material life, because once in a while everybody gets fed up with the material life. Then some people think of committing suicide, some people go to bar and drink, forget or take drugs. Sometimes some people think, let me go to spiritual life. So that's how many people come to the spiritual life. But then they may not also follow the right path, because they don't like to follow so much sishtachar or proper behavior. Yada pakhandi atmavanchitai tai Guru vanchito brahmakulam samavashans tesam silam upnainadi shvat smartha karmanushthanena bhagavato यज्ञपुरुषस्य आराधनमेव तदरोचयन् सुदृकुलं भजते निगमाचार्य शुद्धितो यस्य मिथुनी भाव कुटुम्बवर्णं यथा वानरजाते. So then when he is following this path of hypocrites or worshipping these deities, and he feels cheated after some time, he realizes that these types of teachers, they are just cheating me. I'm not getting anything. So then he goes to the Brahmakulam, to the Brahmanas, and he sees their behavior. They are very well behaved, they are very clean, they are following the Shruti, the Vedas, Smarta, the Smriti Shastra, but those rules are too much for him. So Bhagavato Yajna Purushasya Aradhanam Eva Tadarocam. He does not like the worship of the Supreme Lord. So then he goes to the Shudra Kula. He goes to the low class people, Nigmacharya Suddhita, who don't follow any principles of cleanliness. And Yasya Mithun Bhavam, then he gets married there. And Kutum Bharanam Yatha Avanar Jate, then he just becomes like a monkey. Vana. So monkeys, they are not marrying, but they are also going around in couples. But they change partners. They are not fixed. So that is Vanar Jati. So therefore Darwin was right when he said that we have evolved. Because human beings also do that. So he had a good insight that we came from the apes. Because now people are doing that. Like the saying that today some Western couple, they got married and they were living together. So our employees here, they were surprised. They said, what, they are getting married? Because they cannot understand that. They thought they are already married if they live together. They could not understand that. What do you mean they are getting married? Because they are living together, so it's just beyond their brain to grasp this idea that you live together and then you get married. Because they always think that you get married and then you live together. So this is called Vanar Jati. And then you become engaged in raising your family or maintaining yourself. So Tair Vanchita iti etad vyachaste yadatu iti. So now he explained, which was said before, that he feels cheated by them. So he goes to these people, gives some fees or gives donation and does not feel that he is gaining anything. So then he approaches some brahmanas or well-behaved people, but he is unable to follow them. Atmana eva vanchita isva kalpit kupatha gamitvad tairuru vanchita kalpit kinchid matra aparadh mishena dhanadi apurhitya. So he says that they just fool him to take his money, that you do this, otherwise this will be an offense. You don't do this worship, this puja, this charity. And then Swaganath Nisharita, then when he loses his money, then he is kicked out by his family people. And Nigmokta Achar Madhya Ashuddhi Ruchyate Tayo Yasya Mithuni Bhava. So he marries what is called as impurity in the Vedic. Vidvaya Takta Dhavaya Va Mulyadi Pradhanena Parana. So he marries somebody who is given up by the husband, or whose husband is dead, something like that. then again tries to settle down in family life. Tatrapi swarena, tatrapi niravrodha swarena viharan atikripana buddhi अन्योन्य मुख निरीक्षणादीन ग्राम्य कर्मणा एव विस्मृत कालावधि. So earlier it was described that they watch each other's face, so that is being described here. It says that in that marriage he enjoys freely without any restriction. If you read Smriti Shastra, then there are a lot of restrictions in Ayurveda also. Because the purpose of marriage is not enjoying sex life, which is what now people think. And previously the purpose was that to have a son so that he can continue the lineage and do the Swabda ceremony, Putra Pinda Prayojana. So Putrarthe Kriyate Bhaya and Putram Pinda Prayojana, that one gets married to have a son, and the son is for the purpose of worship basically. So now that is not there. No one even think about that. The children are just born somehow. The idea is to enjoy. So that is called swearing. So that's why he did not go to the Brahmanas, because there you have to follow rules. That you cannot marry as a student, you cannot have sexual relationship outside marriage, and then marriage is only for children's sake, and then don't mate on these particular days like Purnima, Ekadashi, Ashtami, so many days are restricted. So this is not possible. That's why it says Swarena Viharam, that he enjoys at his own will, as he likes. And Atikripana, therefore he is most miserable. Buddhi, Anyonya Mukh Nirikshanadina, and then you are looking at each other, which means become attached to each other. And Gramya Karmana eva, so you remain absorbed in Gramya Karma, materialistic activities. And then you forget that the life is going away, Vismrit Kala, and the death comes. Tajjati Rasena Ityadavachaste. This is again the explanation of the verse Tajjati Rasena. Tatrapi Niravrodha Dharmaryada Bhir Anavruddhimana. So now he lives in this life without following any rules of religion, etc. Nobody cares about religion now, and if they care about religion, it is only just go to a church, temple, do parikrama, something like that. But not that you have your good behavior. Means do certain rituals, but remain the way you are. So that is not spiritual life, that is not Brahmanical life. Vismrita Mrityu Kalasan Viharan Bhavati. So he remains completely in forgetfulness of his death. That death is actually approaching. Forgets that. So this is how people live, and then they die. क्वचिद् द्रुम वद ऐहिक अर्थेषु गृहेषु रंसन यथा वानर वत्सलो व्यवायाक्षण. And then sometimes he says that he enjoys just like, he says, a monkey being attached to his wife and children. Vyavayakshana. Vyavaya means also sexual enjoyment. And Drumvada Ahikarthesu Grihesu Ramsan. When he absorbed in the activities of the house, just like the monkeys are absorbed in the trees. So, Kachit Durvid Dahik Karyasu Aheksu Prayojanakeshu Grihesu Ransa. Just thinking of pleasure only here, not thinking of next life or future life. So, this is only one life we have to live. There is no more life after this. So, enjoy as much as you can. एवं अध्वनि अरुंधानो मृत्युगज भयात तमसी गिरिकंदर प्राय. And in this way, when he is walking on this path, then sometimes he meets the elephant and falls into a cave, dark cave. So this is description of negligence of one's health. Says evam adhvani sukh dukhadi avrundhano girikandar prayatam sirogadapi patati. That he falls into some disease condition, which is compared to falling into a dark cave of a mountain, and you continue to suffer there. Kvachit Shrid वात आदि अनेक दैविक भौतिक आत्मीय नाम दुख नाम प्रति निवारणे अकल्पो दुरंत विषय विषम नास्ति. And sometimes he is unable to counteract the problems of cold, heat, all these three tapas, three types of suffering, especially which are coming from other living beings and from nature. So he becomes very disturbed. क्वचित शीत वात इत्यादि पूर्वस्मादधिकोक्ति रोगाद अपादि पतिता संसीतादि भी क्लिश्चन आस्ते. So first you fall sick, and then you may have fever and you feel cold, shivering. क्वचिन मिथ्या व्यवहारं यत्किंचित् धनम उपयाति वित्तसाठी. And sometimes you are little bit successful in your business and you make little wealth, and that also by some cheating means, because little bit of cheating always goes on. So vittasatthena kadachit kinchit dhanam upayati. And क्वचित क्षीण धन सय्या आसन आदि भोग विहीनो यावद अप्रतिलब्ध मनोरथ उपगता आदने अवसितम इति ततस्ततो मानन्ति जनादयते. And sometimes you have no money and you cannot even buy a cot to sleep or a chair to sit, no food to buy. So you are completely devoid of all enjoyment, and then you go to others and they also don't give you. So you become very disturbed in the mind, you wander here and there, and you are insulted by others. So this is what was described earlier, Kvachit Kshinadhana. अप्रतिलब्धम यन मनोरथेन उपगतम वांछितम तस्या आदाने स्वीकारे निश्चितमति सम. एवं वित्त व्यतिसंग विवृद्ध वैरानुबंधो भी पूर्ववासनीय मिथ उद्वहति अथापः. So earlier it was said that even in such a situation then people marry with each other, although they don't like. So there may be enmity because of wealth, and then still being forced by the previous desires, you marry and sometimes you divorce, so you leave the relationship. So udvahati athapavati etasmin sansaradhvani नाना क्लेश उपसर्ग बाधित आपन्न विपन्नो यत्र यस्तम भाव इतरतः विसृज्य जातम जातम उपादाय शोचन मोह्यन बिभ्यद विवदन क्रंदन संघर्षण गायन क्रियमान साधुवर्जितो नैव आवर्तते अद्यापि यत् आरब्ध एष नरलो सार्थो यमध्वन पारमुपदिशन्ति. So now he is concluding that in this way the person, he remains suffering and undergoes various types of kleshas, miseries, and various types of obstacles. So he continues to walk on this path, and while walking sometimes somebody dies, so he leaves that and moves on. So our life is like a journey, and if we are together walking and somebody dies, you don't stop, you continue your life. And some new people come, means new people take birth, so they start walking with you. Sometimes you lament for others, sometimes you see your relatives, they are suffering, so you also suffer. Sometimes you are in fear that you are going to lose the association of people you like. Sometimes you fight, quarrel, sometimes you cry because of the difficult situation. Sometimes you shout, and sometimes when you get some favorable situation, then you are very happy, then you are dancing and singing. And sometimes you sacrifice yourself for others' sake, your friends or relatives. So such a person is not visited by the holy people, the sadhus or devotees. So he remains devoid of good association. And in this way he continues moving on this path. And the point from which this journey has started, and which is the ultimate goal of this journey, that is the Supreme Lord, he never reaches that. So he says that this person is still continuing to walk without stopping. Adhvaniya amusmin ityadi vyachaste tasmin apadam prapta vipanno mrita sadhavarvita. So various types of problems come, but he remains without any good association, because our life changes only when we have some good association. Otherwise, if we only have material association of materialistic people, we remain on the material path. Vaishnava Sangye Sati Tarati iti bhava. It is only if one gets the association of a Vaishnava or a devotee, then one can cross over, otherwise not. Yatasya Parmeshwarat Tamev Parmeshwaram Param Para Praptam Tatra Sadhu Sangye Bheta. So this path, it actually ends only at God. Which means unless we reach God, we will continue to move on this path. We will continue to walk the path of material life. And that destination is reached only if we meet devotees, not others. So, if one does not get holy association, Vaishnava association or devotee association, then one remains in the material world. Yadidam yoganushasnam neva etadavruddhyate yanyasta danda muniya upsamsila uparatatmana samagvanchan. So as long as one does not meet the devotees, then one remains on this path. So it is the Yoga Shastra which takes you to the Lord, Yoga Anusasana. And Yoga Anusasana means you have to give up all violence, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya. And nivritti parayana, we have to become detached. So only such people are able to reach the Lord. Munaya upshamasila uparatatmana samavachanti. So those who are munis or those who think, muni also means those who keep silence, means not talking necessarily. And upashamasila, who are given to control of mind. And uparatatma, and who have given up material endeavors. They do not make any effort for material pleasures. They work only for spiritual upliftment. So they are the people who reach the Lord. Yadapi digi bhajaino yajvino yevai rajarshya kintu pare mride sairanasyameva mama iyamiti kritvaramubandham vislijya smanupsamata. So earlier he spoke about the kings who can control the various directions and they can perform big sacrifice, but even they cannot reach the Lord. Although they can fight big battles and give up their life, but as long as they have the ego that they are the controller of the world or they are owner of the earth, they have enmity towards other, so they also die and go to the other world, but they don't reach the Lord. Because as long as they have hatred for others, kritivaram bandhayam sujya, so then it is not possible. So they will engage in battle, they will die there. Mridhe Sairam means lying on the battlefield. So this is of course in the olden days that people used to fight face to face. Now you can have battle without being on the battlefield. So the meaning is that as long as one controls one's mind and stops it from engaging in material sense pleasures, there is no possibility of coming out of this forest of material existence. Even if one is a very great hero, big fighter, big conqueror of various kingdoms, but one can actually conquer the whole world. Big Vijay means conquering directions, means you conquer everybody. But you have not conquered your own mind, then even such people cannot reach the Lord. Karmavallim avlambya tata apdah kaschin kathanchid narakadi vimukta punarapi evam sansarabhani vartamana narlok sartham upayati evam uparigato. So he says that those people who take shelter of the creeper of karma, karmavalli. So there are two types of karma, good karma and bad karma. So if you do good karma, you go to heaven, and if you do bad karma, you go to hell. So then what happens if you go to hell, you stay there and then again you come back and again join people on this path. So it's like a parikrama, it is going on. Never stops. All those people, sometimes you can go to some shop, drink a cup of tea, come back, again join. So like that you can go to hell, suffer there. Hell is not eternal. So after some time you are born again on earth, the same thing starts. Or you go to heaven, from there also you have to come back. So tetam bhuktva sargalokam vishalam chine punne martalokam vishanti. So you can enjoy the heaven for a very long period, vishalam. But No matter how long it is temporary. So one day you will come back. So Abrahma Purnaloka, Abrahma Bhumnaloka Punaravartini Arjuna. Mahampetya tu Kante Punarjanma Vidhite. So all the planets up to the Brahman, Brahmaloka, they are all places where we have to come back. But if one goes to the planet of Krishna, then one does not have to come back. So that is only by bhakti, not by any other process. So this is what he has explained. Vallim grihitva ityadi avshishtam grantham dvachaste. So he says, now he explains the rest of that chapter in this one verse, that to take shelter of the creeper. Karma valli, it is the creeper of karma. So karma means material activities. Evam upri gato api swargo, swargi jano api samsara dvani vartamana. So those people who are following karma mimamsa, the path of karma, they cannot get out of the material world. It is not possible. So this is the explanation of the story which was described in the previous chapter. Now he concludes about the glories of Bharat. Tasya idam upgayanti. Sukadeva Goswami says that following are the verses which are spoken about King Bharat. Bharat was a very great king, very illustrious king. And he gave up his kingdom when he was very young. So he says, Arshavasya rajarsher mansapi mahatmanaha nanu vartamahati nripo makshikaiva garutmataha. Says that the glories of King Bharat, who was son of Rishabhadev. And we read about Rishabhadev. He says that one cannot fathom his glories even by the mind. He was so great. He says it just like a fly is trying to catch Garuda. So Garuda is Lord Vishnu's carrier. He can fly at the speed of the mind. And fly is thinking that she is going to compete with him. So like that, it is not possible for us to understand and know the glories of King Bharat, how great he was. So he says, Bharato upakhyanam upsangritya tan mahimani pracham sammatima. Now he is concluding the story of Bharat Maharaj. And in concluding statements, he gives the words of the previous people, what they have said about him. And these are the slokas which were spoken about Bharat. This is not something which Sukadeva is composing or saying himself, but he is just repeating the slokas sung in his praise. Tasya idam karma arshavasya rishabputrasya anuvartme vartamanu gantum narhati yogata bhavati bhava. Says that the wonderful activities which he did, it is not possible for us to do that or to follow in his footsteps, because we are not qualified like that. Manasa manorathena api kimat karma. We cannot even think of it through our mind, what to speak of actually doing it. So then he says, Yodustajan dara sutan suhidrajya hridi sprushaha jahu yuvaye vaimalva duttam sloka lanasa. So what is His greatness, it is being described here. This is one of the greatness. It says that it is very difficult to give up one's wife and children. In olden days, now probably it's so difficult. Maybe now we are happy to give up. So in the olden days it was very difficult. There was so much intimate relationship, love and affection that one could not think of. It says therefore they were called dustyaja. Very hard to relinquish this relationship. So sambandhanubandho muninam dustyaja, the bondage of relations is very difficult to give up even by the sages. Even Vyasadeva, who wrote all this, when Sukadeva left home, he was also following him. Putraiti tanmayata tarvo bhanetu tam vyasam. So he was saying, my son, yam pravajantam anupetam upete kruttim. So Sukadeva Goswami left home and he was walking. And Vyasa was saying, where are you going, my son? He did not listen. So they did not even turn back. Because he was so much absorbed in Brahman that he did not see somebody as mother or father or anything like that. He was only absorbed in Brahman. So Vivikta Drishti. His drishti, his vision was Vivikta. He was one-pointed. So therefore he did not respond to Vyasa's call. So it is said that only the trees responded. The trees felt compassionate on Vyasa because he was calling in such a pitiable voice. Then the tree said, yes. Dear want, we are here. And Vyasa said, not you. Because the tree said that we have some resemblance with your son. He is not wearing any cloth, we are also naked. So he does not discriminate, we also don't discriminate. Anybody comes under us can take shelter, sit in the shade, take fruits, cut our branches. So Sukadeva was also learning. So it says, Tarvo bhinedu, tam sarvabhut hridayam muni manato asmi. So he said that I bow down to that Muni, who is sarvabhut hridaya. That he is in heart of everybody. So it's very difficult to give up the attachment to one's family. But he gave up and gave up all his attachment, his kingdom he gave up. People fight to get others' kingdom. He gave up his own kingdom. Kings are used to be very fond of attacking the neighbors and try to win over them, conquer them, so that their kingdom expands. But he gave up Jaho, and you can also give up when you are old. In old days people also give up. So he says Yuvaev, he was actually youthful. So to give up kingdom when you are young, that is very rare. And then also there are some people who give up and then they speak about it. That look, he gave up this, he gave up that. You hear this many times among the devotees that he comes from this family, he was having a good job, he gave up all that. Or this will speak about themselves, that I gave up this. He used to hear. So one who is talking like this, he has not given up, because he is still carrying it in his mind. So he says that he gave it up just like he passed stool. Malavat. So after passing stool, you don't come out and then tell everybody that look how great I am.
Only if you're 2 years old. Maybe.
So he says, Malavad. And why he did this? Uttama Sloka Lalasa. Because he was just eager to see Krishna, to be with him, to serve Krishna. So this is the greatness of Bharata. Tasya premanubhavama. So he says this happened because he was in complete love with Krishna. So out of love he gave up. Ya'ityasya uttarvakya gatatvat na tattadape padapeksha militam yadabhiram tadhike itivat dustajatva hetu this prasha. So why these things are difficult to give up? Because they touch your heart. Manoharat. They captivate your mind. Suhid rajyor dandakyam yuvayavati vardhakya ityadibhya priyavatadibhya pritkar. So he says that he is greater than Priyavrata because Priyavrata gave up when he was in old age. But he gave up when he was young. Malvad yatha malasya tage eva nirvriti tyaga bhave kashtam tyaktasya tasya smarne epi nishthivana gana tathaiviti tyago nebhyo lakshanani. So what is the sense of that he gave up it like stool? He says it's like you feel happy by passing stool. That means he was happy to give up. And if you are unable to pass stool, then you feel uncomfortable. So that means he was uncomfortable by having the kingdom. This is his great. And then when you pass stool, you don't remember it. And if you remember it, it doesn't give good feelings in the mind. You feel like spitting if you get a thought of it. So that's the meaning, that he gave up and then he didn't talk about it or he thought about it. That's how he gave up. So he says this is the greatness of his renunciation, superior than others. Tatra hetu, why he did that? Uttama sarvotkrishta rupa guna lila madhuri ashwarya sambandhi sloko yaso yasa tasmin lavas darshanadi atsukya. Because he was very eager to see the Lord who has the supreme beauties, wonderful qualities and great pastimes which are very sweet. Tene bhagavat saundaryadi अनाविष्ट सर्वेन्द्रियाणाम विरक्तानाम दारादेव न मलतुल्य भवन्ति इति भरतस्य उत्तम भक्तोत्तम धनिकम. So he says that by Vyanjana Vritti, this is the Vyanjana Vritti, it is indicated that he was such a great devotee. Because without devotion, it is not possible to do that. Because his mind, his senses, they were completely absorbed in the beauty of the Lord. And when one's mind becomes absorbed, then you become detached in everything else. So this is how indirectly it is stated that he was a great devotee of Krishna, not directly stated it. Although directly also we saw that he was very much absorbed. So I'll stop here if there are any questions.
Why is he considered a great devotee? Because he could have engaged everything in the service of the Lord. Like there are superior types of devotees.
Then, till now, whatever we read, he was superior than them. He is great, they are also greater. You read about them. Before you engage in the service, you have to become renounced. Otherwise, we don't know whether we are renounced or not. People always talk like that. So then instead of engaging it in the service of the Lord, they engage it in their own service. But they say like that I'm. So this is to show that this type of renunciation should be there inside, and then you engage everything in the service of the Lord. This is what is the meaning. This is how it is being built up. That when you will come to the 10th canto, the gopis are there, they are being described. They had renunciation like this, and yet they were performing everything. So that has to be kept in mind. That's why they are superior than Bharat. So, but if we don't understand this renunciation, then it looks like that what is the big deal about gopis? What they are doing, we are also doing. They did not give up their house and family, we are also not giving up. It looks like that. But there is a vast difference. And that can be known only if you first segregate it completely. Physically show that this is what renunciation means. So they were highly renounced, gopis, more than even Bharat. But we don't see that renunciation. So that is just to instill that idea in us right from the beginning.
He was making this point that the yoga path, the niyamas and yamas, was a requisite for at least having some grace.
Yeah, means you should not be violent. Because if you are violent, then your heart is very hard and bhakti is very soft. So to have the proper receptacle to receive bhakti, should not be person committing violence to others.
The question I English not understand, no, if we put here inside and outside, what is in English? If we
Breathe in and breathe out.
breathing, yeah? But in the I read that when we was born, we have some breathing, 1 million of breathing. And yogi can one breathing, 1 minute, one breathing, 1 minute. And his life become more and more. This time I'm breathing together or separated. Because you tell me, chakra moving, I'm going. But if you breathing not very quickly, the time will be more long.
But still you will die one day. You can make it long, but death will come.
The time will become more long.
Yeah. But not infinite, not unlimited. Okay.